Hi, I'm Steve Sando from Rancho Gordo, and I'm finally here at Bernal Cutlery, and I'm going to show you what's in my basket. I am so excited to try this. I love a good cutting board, and I have a good one, and it's a traditional one, but it's so heavy, I tend probably not to clean it as much as I should. I love that this is light, and it's Hiba wood, which is rare, I've just learned, in Japan, and it's made by an 85-year-old craftsman who's a fourth-generation carver. And I think this is worthy of my onions and garlic when I'm putting together a bowl of beans. I think this is a great place to start. And I love the lightness because it means I'm going to clean it a lot. And it's so beautiful, I'm going to take care of it and love it in a way that I don't think I do for a traditional cutting board. Well, look what they have here, the Rancho Gordo Heirloom Bean Guide, written by Steve Sando and Julia Newberry. And I understand Steve's really good looking. Oh, wait, that's me. We had written a not very good book with a different publisher that expired, and we thought, let's take the best of that not very good book and create a new book and pick our 50 favorite heirloom beans. So it's a little bit of everything. And we also were dealing with different publishers, and it's sort of not always in the author's best interest. So we started self-publishing, and this is a self-published book, and it's, I think, in its 10th printing. So we're doing really well with it. All right, so this is a petty knife. It's by Sakai Kikumori. I was playing around with paring knives, and really it was 4 to 6 inch European style chef's knife that actually I felt the most comfortable with. And I find I use them all the time. This is Japanese and it's stainless. The handle feels terrific. It looks cute too. So I think it's one for the ages. Beans: A History is one of the most fun books. Ken Albala is a great professor, I think somewhere in Stockton, University of the Pacific, I think. Anyway, he's mildly insane and obsessive in the best kind of way. Right when I was getting started, he interviewed me, and we've been friends ever since. We actually did a presentation together for the Food Historian Society in Los Angeles. That was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I had to follow him, and that wasn't easy because he knows how to command a classroom or an audience. These are great. Corzetti, or Corzetto for one. I spent a good time of my youth in Liguria, so it's really exciting to find this. I do know you press this into pasta and you get beautiful medallion shape. The impression, they're not all that strong by the time it's been boiled and served to you, but I'm actually going to try this making sugar cookies. Don't tell anyone from Italy, but I think this is great to have. And you see these all the time, and I'm really excited to own one. Here's a kanaya Japanese brush. It's great for vegetables or getting into hard to reach places, but I'm going to use it for nopales and tunas, which are prickly pears. And you know, prickly pears actually have more glochids, those little pricks, than the paddles do, and they're invisible, a lot of them. So I think this is going to be a great tool for brushing them before I eat them. Another trick I love with prickly pears is after you peel them, you slice them, make sure they're super cold, and then put sambuca on them. It's a great flavor. This is from Stuart Brioza, and he has so many great restaurants. The State Bird, the Anchovy Bar, the Progress, and he and his wife are two of my favorite people. In the early days of the farmer's market, when I was in San Francisco, I was the loneliest guy because no one wanted beans. Stuart was one of the people who made a beeline towards me, and he's been supporting us ever since. This is a great anchovy salt at its essence, and I think it's a byproduct of making fish sauce somehow, but it's absolutely delicious, and I'm really proud that he's pulled this off. Anything the Atomic Workshop does, I think it's worth checking out. And this you can use on everything from popcorn to beans to fish. I was sent this book by the publisher 10 Speed, who also did our bean book. The co-author, Noah Galutin, was a big Rancho Gordo fan. We studied red beans and rice for months, and I came up with what I thought was the perfect recipe, which is on our website. But this recipe is the bomb. It's absolutely the first thing I would do now, even more than ours. And then the rest of the book is great. It's a good story, and they're solid cooks, and I would recommend this book for everybody. This looks so good. If I just see the word bergamot, I'm going crazy. That's, you know, what makes Earl Grey tea so delicious. Also, it's used in a lot of perfumes. And with the rose and the rooibos, I think that's how you pronounce it, from South Africa, which has all kinds of health properties. This looks like a complete winner, and I can't wait to try this in one of my vintage sterling silver teapots. Happy to see this again. Found this brand online at one point. I just felt like I wanted to help Palestinian commerce in any way I could, and it was absolutely delicious. One of the best ways we can support people is by providing opportunities and financially buying things that they're making, and they have so few options right now. This is a great thing to do, and it's really, really delicious too. So I'm really thrilled to find this again. I met the minnow people at a trade show not too long ago, and the trout they do is great, the sardines are great, everything. And rather than have it be from a region, they just pick what they consider the best from around the world. But they were hard to convince me that cod livers would be delicious, because I'm of an age when you were sick, your mother gave you cod liver oil, and it's just yuck. And then you open the tin, it's like, no, this isn't going to work out. And then you eat them and say, oh, these are delicious. I mean, if you're an adventurous person and you can look beyond the way they look, maybe sprinkle some parsley on them or chives so they're not so neutral looking. It's really, the payoff is there. It's a great company to watch for. I tell myself I'm not a knife fetishist. Like, I just want knives so I can cook and eat and get on with it. But I see something like this and I kind of melt. My knees get weak and I think, oh, I have to have this as part of my kitchen. And trust me, I don't need another knife, but I can't say no to this. It's really beautiful. It's a Konosuke and it's SLD, which is a semi-stainless knife. So there is carbon in it, so it probably holds its edge better. I love Japanese shaped knives. I love, short knives, big knives, but this length looks like it's going to be perfect for me in the kitchen. It feels like an extension of my hand, and that's kind of what I want when I'm cooking. I don't want a knife just to have a knife, because you want it to cook and to have a reason, but I just think it's beautiful. And then it comes with a leather sheath, and it comes off and on easy enough, and I just think, this might just hang out on my counter for a while. If you had told me 8 months ago, a year ago, that I would be running out of miso, I would have laughed, because what am I going to use miso for? Well, ever since Shared Culture started making it, and they're using our midnight black beans in this one, they use several of our beans and several different ones. I use it all the time. It's a great finishing piece. I start every day out now with sort of a multigrain cracker, goat cheese, a layer of the miso, and then I put pumpkin seeds in it, and I call that breakfast. And for me, that's perfect. It used to be a cigarette and coffee, but I've changed. Like everybody, I'm in love with tinned fish now, and the loopier the package, the better. This is actually a pretty straightforward one, and it's sardines in tomato sauce. And I can't wait to try this one. I've had other nori products, but not this. If you are lazy and you say it's too hard to cook, I would say shut up. You have a pot of beans you made on Sunday. You're going to heat a cup or so up, open a tin of the nori, and with sardines and tomatoes. And if sardines are a little distasteful to you, mash them up a tiny bit, although I promise you'll get over it really fast. Kitchen shears. We all know the little Payares knife. It's kind of groovy. I didn't know they made these big, beautiful shears. I think they're great in the kitchen. They can handle a chicken with no trouble. You don't realize how many tasks can be done by great shears when you have them. So these are really going to be welcome in the kitchen. Like a lot of people, I kind of hated anchovies for years, just because you're supposed to hate them. And then one time I was living on Nob Hill and I ordered a pizza to go, and someone accidentally gave me ground beef and anchovies on the pizza. And of course I was almost in tears until I got home and ate it. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I think I get this. It was absolutely a delicious combination that I still do, but anchovies everywhere. I love them. I love these. This is a machacadora. It's from Michoacan. And the man that makes these is so surprised that we sell so many. It's from a special wood from his area, and they're really great if you're fermenting and you want to pound the cabbage. If you're making guacamole, it's a great thing. It's surprisingly handy. Well, this has been about as much fun as a grown-up can have, I think. For years, I've been buying online, and I've heard about Bernal Cutlery to actually come in and meet some of my heroes and meet all these great knives and all these great accessories. It's a reason to grow up, is what I'd say. So I'm Steve Sando again from Rancho Gordo. I'm proud my beans are here. I'm proud to be a customer, and this is what's in my basket.